Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to Anfield's Agenda, hosted by James Redmond for today, my first ever solo show on the channel. I felt like I'd done okay the other day with Paddy, but Paddy was also a big help there, so we'll see how I get along. It's not Craig tonight, it is just me. And do you know what, mate? I'm very excited for it. The Anfield Agenda community has welcomed me with open arms. We've got loads to delve into as well, mostly to do with the Arsenal game. I was thinking at the end of the stream, we could do like a little Q&A. So if you've got any questions, save them and we can do them at the end, because I'd love to get to know the Anfield Agenda community as well as you getting to know me. Do you get what I'm saying? As far as I'm concerned, a lot of people could just think I'm a knobhead, and that I don't know me shit. So I'd like to hopefully, over the next course of about half an hour, there and thereabouts, we can maybe change that. But shout out to everyone who's in the chat. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in as well. And like I said, a very juicy show. I'm here to give my sort of perspective on what I think's going to happen in the Liverpool-Arsenal game. I'll give me lineup prediction. I'll talk about the threats of both teams, of what we have to look out for, but also how Liverpool win this game, because there has been many circumstances over the past few weeks where, you know, you do think to yourself, Liverpool have shown susceptibilities. They've shown weakness within their side. Therefore, you know, conceding goals constantly and doing all this stuff, it's just not going to be able to... It's not sustainable. If you want to be in a title race, like Liverpool want to be in a title race, it's certainly not a sustainable style of play to be conceding 2 or 3 goals every game. If you need a case study, 13-14 is the perfect one. And I believe we have a much better team now than what we did in 13-14. Just when you go off individuals, the attack is up for debate, because Luis Suarez that season was, like, when you're talking about aliens... No one, I have never seen anyone do what Salah done. Even now, Salah is getting close, but that season, missing the first 8 games, still scoring 31 goals, that was a big part of getting us in the title charge. But when you looked at the defence with, you know, shout out to a man like Skinhead and Skirtle, who is a belter, but you know he's not top, he's not the upper echelon centre-back, or at least he weren't at that point. I feel like now, with Joel Matip, who I think is top 5 centre-backs in the league, Virgil van Dijk, it's a matter of time before we do actually start to really get into our rhythm. And one thing a lot of people forget is that Jurgen Klopp at the start of the season was talking about how Liverpool are going to build into the season. It's not just going to come over a few games. We're still 4th in the league, and even though that's not ideal, we're 4 points behind Chelsea. They've got Leicester, so we hope and we pray that Leicester can get a result, even though it's very unlikely because they haven't been great. Brendan Rodgers hasn't been doing the bits this season since his FA Cup and Community Shield win. But as long as we get our job done and we get the 3 points, at the end of the day, that's all that really, really matters. So I'm very, very sound with that. Shout out to everyone in the chat who's showing love. Be sure to smash a like if you enjoy the show. And let's get into it. So I feel like a good place to start will be who do I think is going to start for Liverpool in this match, because it feels like it's nailed on, but with the few niggles that the teams had here and there over the international break, it only makes sense that we take a bit of caution. So Jurgen Klopp said in his press conference that Robbo and Henderson have not yet trained, but they're going to analyse them over... Or was it that they trained yesterday? Let me just double check that very, very quick. So he was saying Henderson and Robbo didn't train with the team yet. They did rehab and recovery stuff, but it will be a late decision. Sadio's going to be fine. Fabinho did recovery, and the plan is that he trains today. So we're looking okay. It's not crisis, but we could still see 1 or 2 names off that list of what we usually see. So normal 4-3-3. You start off in goal. As much as I love the Irish Iker Casillas in Kelleher, it's Alisson every day of the week. I know we made a few mistakes against West Ham, but I think before that, you're looking at a pretty much flawless season from Alisson Becker. He's still the greatest goalkeeper in the world, in my opinion. You can put a few people in there for debate. That being said, I'm confident with him between the sticks. Back 4. I'm going to start from right back, because I usually start from left back, but I feel like that one's up for debate, so I'll save that one till last. Trent starts at right back. Centre backs, a lot of shouts for Konate to be in this game. The only reason why See, Konate probably wouldn't be too bad, because you are going to see maybe the likes of Aubameyang trying to run in behind, but I don't think Aubameyang makes as many frequent runs in behind the defence as he once did. Before, that was all his game. Now he's kind of adapting his game to be more of a team player, create space for the likes of Saka, Smith Rowe, who... Smith Rowe, he's a number 10, but he does tend to get into the areas of what a striker normally would. Lacazette is also been playing in the number 10 role for Arsenal, doing bits. But I do think for this game, Arsenal are going to try and play around us opposed to through us, and therefore that's why I'm going to go with Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk. I am all for Konate getting a run of games in the Champions League or the League Cup games or whatever it may be. To put him into this one, I'm not too sure. I think it'd be too premature to drop Matip, because that's what you're doing. You're not dropping Virgil van Dijk, even if he has had a few shaky games. Like, a lot of people have questioned his performance against West Ham. Feel free to disagree, but I thought, without Virgil van Dijk there, we probably concede 5 or 6. He kind of saved us in a lot of moments. Weren't perfect by any means, but I blame the team more than the individual, and I think overall, based on the season, Matip's probably edged Van Dijk in terms of performance levels on a consistent basis. So I'm going to go with Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk, but I'm fine if Konate starts. And before I do go into left back, what's happened to Josephine Gomez? Well, he's just chilling. Like, we do forget that Joe Gomez is a crucial part of us winning a Champions League and a Premier League, by the way. Starting week in, week out. It's now like he's not even in the pecking order. I thought going into the season, you know, yeah, it's nice to see your new shiny toy in Konate, but Joe Gomez, he's still proven in this league. He's had his tendencies to make the odd mistake here and there, but in the main, I feel like he's been fine. Even in the games that he stepped up, and no one, nada, seems to be talking about him, so it's one of them things. But I do think Matip and Van Dijk will start this game. And Neil, the tasty one, who is going to start in the left-back position? That's the main sort of thing you've got to look at here. Who's going to start in that role? Because Robbo, as Jurgen Klopp has said, he hasn't trained yet. They're going to see later on in the week. If I am Jurgen Klopp, which I'm not, I know nowhere near as much about football than he does, but from the very minuscule knowledge that I do have, I will probably edge Tsimikas for this game. 1, for the fact that we're going to have most of the possession. 2, for the fact that I think Arsenal are going to be more defensive in this game than what they have shown to be in the past. And also, I just think he brings that creativity that Robbo doesn't, the efficiency on the crosses that Robbo doesn't. I'm happy to give him a chance. It's about time we stop just going with favourites. And I'm not saying Klopp always does that. I'm sure there's a method to his madness when he does keep starting Robbo, when he does keep starting Mane when he's not on form, or anyone for that matter. But Robbo hasn't had the greatest of seasons, and Tsimikas, I've said it plenty of times on this show, 6 games, 6 wins, 6 clean sheets. I think 2 of them are Premier League games, 2 or 3 Champions League, and then 1 or 2 League Cup. And he's got clean sheets in all of those fixtures. Therefore, I'd like to give him a chance in this one. And it's not like this is a top 4 side. Arsenal have played well for sure. They're one of the greatest teams in English history. But Tsimikas, I think he can do a job against their wingers. And, you know, Pepe, is that who's going to be starting for Arsenal? I think Tsimikas can do a job there. And it'd be good to see him in a good game like this against a team with a good run of form. So the back 5, including the goalkeeper, Alisson, Tsimikas, Trent, and then the centre-backs being Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk. Make sure that you get yours in the live chat as well, or if you're not watching this live, then get it in the comments. Moving into the midfield, again, Henderson hasn't trained, so that's got to be taken into play, but I feel if there's anyone who's got that first name on the team sheet, besides Mo Salah and Virg, you're probably looking at Henderson. People underestimate how important he is to our team as a utility man. And when I say people, I mean mostly neutrals, because everyone just calls him average for some reason. But I call him Jordan Hendo Nino, and many Liverpool fans seem to agree with that notion of just how bossy he is, how important he is, and how the success that we've received over the years wouldn't have come without him. And in this game specifically, you're going to need that, because we've been relying on Trent a lot to be creating a lot of our chances. Therefore, he's had to go forward a lot. Therefore, you need to have Henderson on the right-hand side of that midfield to accommodate him for when he is bursting forward. So Henderson goes in there on the right-hand side. Fabinho in the middle. Feel like that's just up for no debate. And then I want to see Thiago. Some would maybe say Oxlade for the explosiveness, but I feel like if you're not going to see that midfield trio now, then when are you going to see it? Be all and ends all. You know, it's about time we give these lads a run of games together. Let Thiago be the one who pulls the strings. Let Fabinho sit in the back and get your team from A to B involved in the build-up play. And then Henderson being the utility man that he is. So when a Thiago bursts forward or a Trent bursts forward, he can fill in them roles. And I think that midfield, when you put it in comparison to Arsenal's, you know, what wins you games? The midfield wins you games. I feel like ours shits on theirs all day, with all due respect. Even though they've got Thomas Partey fit, but we'll touch on their squad and their players in a minute. So that's the midfield 3, and then the front 3. Craig threw out a huge wild card that I just did not see coming. It was like an RKO out of nowhere from Randy Orton. It was so crazy to even hear this suggestion, but when I think about it, I probably wouldn't be too against it. So he said Salah, Mane, or did he say Jota? I can't remember. Either way, I'd go with Salah and Mane. I feel like they're nailed on with the form Mane's been in over the past few games and the season, really. And of course, Salah is just Salah. Then it's out of Jota and Origi. Most people would say Jota. But let me just throw this question to you. I'm one of those who would say Jota, by the way, but I like to play a little game as Devil's Avocado from the little content that you've watched on me from this YouTube channel. It's my favourite game. Divock Origi's been great this season. You know, what's the one thing everyone always says Divock Origi doesn't do? He doesn't run, he doesn't work hard. I've saw nothing but working hard, and it's hard sometimes for a player like Divock, who's more of a target man. He needs the service to look like a Bobby Firmino, where he's running all over the place, he's pressing. If he does his fair share of pressing in this game but gets into the positions to score goals, I wouldn't hate it. His goal against West Ham was absolutely class. His all-round play against the likes of AC Milan, which I thought creative-wise he was brilliant, and then against Norwich as well, I feel like he's done his job. The only game that I can think of that he was quiet was Preston, but the whole team weren't the greatest. How do you expect your striker to look good when your team isn't really feeding the ball to him? I wouldn't start Origi in this one. I'd love to give him half an hour at the end if we're in need of a goal, but I wouldn't mind seeing Origi in a consistent run of games, and I think that's a topic that I'll probably touch on later in the show with him. So not this one. I'd go with Jota in the middle, Mane on the left and Salah on the right, but in the future, Origi wouldn't be a bad shout. So that's my start 11, just to go over that one more time for those who have just tuned in. And reminder, smash a like if you haven't already. Alisson in goal, Robertson left back, Shimakash left back, Trent right back, centre backs being Matip and Verge, midfield Fabinho, Henderson and Thiago, and then the front three, Mane, Jota and Salah. And I think that's good enough to beat Arsenal. When you look at their team and you look at their threats, they've got a lot of players back for this game. There was rumours that Partey might be missing this game. Aubameyang, turns out they're fit and they're going to be available. So let's look at their key threats. You've got Bukayo Saka, who, although I think he is slightly overrated, not bad. People seem to get dead confused when I say a player is overrated. I just think when people are putting him above Greenwood and, like other youngsters in the country, I don't think that's quite right. Hence why I'm calling him overrated. But he's still a good player. Technically on the ball, he's a fantastic player. But the one that I worry about most is Emile Smith-Rowe. He's got like 4 in the last 3 or some bullshit like that. He's been putting up insane numbers. Scored for England on the international break. And his confidence is just growing. And they're the players you need to fear most. The ones with confidence in a big game like this as well. Because Arsenal, they've got a point to prove. It's not a must-win for Arsenal, but they have got a point to prove because even over the past 10 games where they've been decent and they've been getting wins and results that they weren't getting last season, you can't say that they were beating the smaller sides because, there was moments where they were a laughingstock for the reason they couldn't do that. Now, it seems to be that players like Emile Smith-Rowe are really stepping up to the plate. He got the number 10 shirt in the summer and he just seems to be going for it. So with the likes of Partey being available, Smith-Rowe, Aubameyang, who's found a little bit more form this season, I feel like it's going to be a much tougher opponent. And one last thing to why I think it's going to be a tougher Arsenal than usual, and we shouldn't look at them like the usual Arsenal. They haven't got shit in the team. All the team is balanced. It's all Arteta's players. That's why they've looked more shored up against, even if it's smaller sides. They haven't got David Luiz or a washed David Luiz. They haven't got friggin' Hector Bellerin on the right-hand side. Some shit midfielders who aren't going to work hard. They've got a very, very well-balanced squad that seem to have a little bit more cohesion about them. And the morale of the squad just looked better, which always proposes more of an outfit. The way, the only thing in my mind is how do we win this game is just how they play. So if they decide to come at us, I think it's Liverpool's game all day. If they don't sit back and try and catch us on the counter-attack, kind of like West Ham did, then I feel like we're going to have a field day. We're going to finish it off in the first 20 minutes. They might get a goal in the second half, but it's only going to be nothing but consolation. But it's going to be close. And I see this game, with the fact they're so compact, with the fact that, again, there's more cohesion, the morale is being boosted in that team, I'm going to go with a Liverpool. I'm going to say, if I have to give a score, Liverpool 2, Arsenal 0. I have faith that we have a clean sheet. Not to mention this just being an international break, which can be a good or a bad thing for Liverpool. If we're in good form and there's an international break, it's shit. But if we're in bad form, Sometimes it can be what you need. Let your players go out, see their mates and all that business, get a few results against, absolutely shite teams, and then just come back feeling happy and refreshed. And that's the way I can kind of see our team. It comes at the perfect time. If we played Arsenal right after our last game against West Ham a week later, it's a bit of a problem. But Liverpool have got a point to prove. We're in a title race. Arsenal don't even know what they're in. They could be in a Europa League race. They could be in the top 4. We just don't know it yet. So we need to make sure we assert our dominance. And the last point before we move on. If we're at our best and Arsenal are at their best, best believe Liverpool win this game. That's just, I'm telling you something that you already know. That's not me telling you, a fact. That's just a fact. That's just the way it is. We've got more quality than them. We've got a better coach, even though Arteta has a decent record against Klopp. All round, I think we should absolutely get the win in this game. How are you, James? Hope you enjoy your single debut on Anfield's agenda. You have been a great addition. Pal. Respect. Oh, thank you for the kind words, my mate. So that's pretty much my Arsenal preview out the way. If you do have any questions that you'd like to ask me, and thank you so much for the kind message like that, just to get to know me a little bit more, really, then by all means, go for it in the chat. I am all ears and I'll answer all questions. Even if you're a neutral and you have a question based on your team, absolutely go for it. Tomiyasu is a big upgrade on Luis and Bellerin. Tomiyasu and Ben White is a big upgrade on David Luiz and Bellerin. My point exactly. LFC transfer room, 100% could not agree. When you really dissect it, they still have players who could make mistakes, because let's not forget, Arsenal are a team that are in transition. Some of their players are over the hill, some of their players are, building up, they're not even at their peak yet, but no one seems to be at their peak in that side. Therefore, when you remove the mistakes and the players who was creating those mistakes, like David Luiz and Hector Bellerin, it does create a test. And I think people forget as well, last season when we played Arsenal at Anfield, I think the score was 3-1. That was a close affair. We won the game 3-1, but it was 2-1 for the majority of the game, and we scored a last-minute goal. Lacazette nearly scored as well, that he hit right at the keeper. There was many moments where I just think this could be an issue, because we do tend to smash them, and that result looks kind to us. But now with just more of an established Arteta team, it could be a problem for sure. It could be a problem. James, I watched your channel, but with Anfield Agenda, you rock! Man, I'm so happy to be on this channel, me and Craig, and obviously Connor behind the scenes as well. I call him the silent assassin, you know what I mean, doing all the business behind the scenes. I'm very happy to be on the channel. It's a great opportunity for me, not to mention, but also just the people that are here. Anywhere that I associate myself with in life, I like to make sure that I associate myself with good people, good hard-working people with strong ambitions, and I feel like this channel is exactly what I need, where I can talk about Liverpool on a day-to-day basis, but only Liverpool. Like, if you go and subscribe to my channel, James Redmond TV, a little cheeky plug, it's football, it's about me, like, James Redmond TV, this is the proper Liverpool place, so make sure you subscribe to get all your LFC content here. Tobias says, who do you think we should sign in January? I mean, the question is, you should be asking me, do I think we will sign anyone in January? I don't think we will, because obviously the big investments that FSG have been making into Penguins recently. But who do I think we should sign, or who do we need? I think we need a striker and a midfielder. It just depends what you need more. I'd probably suggest a striker, but the thing about getting a striker now is that we should have got one in the summer, because when you look at our games in December, that's the busiest period of the season. Salah and Mane is going to be gone. We knew that was going to be the case in the summer. I think someone like Ivan Toney would have been perfect. And I know he was a championship player last season, but so was fucking Harvey Elliott. Like, just because you were in a lower league doesn't mean you can't do it in the Premier League. Sometimes you've got to look at the attributes of the players. Is it just the team that's making them look good, or do they have skills? And like I said, just qualities and attributes that they can add to our team. Ivan Toney's got movement, he's got creativity, his delivery of the ball's great, but he can also receive a cross. What do Liverpool do on a regular basis? We spam balls into the cross, we click the X button, or if you're on PS, it'd be a square button? Square button. I think it'd be a square button. And that's what we do. If you have Diogo Jota and Ivan Toney to be able to put the ball into the box to and feed him into, he's going to get goals. And he broke the championship record in a Liverpool team where we dominate possession, we create loads of chances. I think he'd be great. And he doesn't have to start every game That's the beauty. I've been saying this about Tsimikas and Robertson. Tsimikas doesn't have to start every game, nor does Robertson. They can both play games that's best suited to them tactically. Same with Firmino and Ivan Toney. Because Ivan Toney's boss at all these things. Firmino is the creator. He's the one who'll see the man. Salah and Mane get in behind. Ivan Toney would have to be a bit further up the pitch. But again, there'd be games that he'd be more suited to. Like, Ivan Toney would have been perfect for West Ham, as would have Tsimikas. Just because you'd have Tsimikas putting in the balls and Ivan Toney getting on the end of them. Let's not forget, Ivan Toney was beating Virgil van Dijk to the ball when we played Brentford. So, if I had to say one player that I absolutely would love for Christmas or January, Ivan Toney. Chris McKenna, my name butchering is terrible. I'm so sorry, my mate. But my man Chris, thank you for the super chat. Means more than you think. I'm a Dortmund fan, but I love listening to Craig. But since you've joined, I've really liked having you on here. Have a great weekend. You rock. That's 2 people that's told me that I rock now. Chris, thank you so much, my mate. Just so you know, I'm a huge fan of the Dortmund faithful, because your club, the way it's run, it's marvellous. So if you're going to lick my ass, I'm going to lick yours. Great team, and thank you so much for the kind words, you absolute legend. Absolute legend. LFC Transfer Room says Liverpool are unlikely to add to their ranks as things stand in January transfer window, despite the absence of Salah and Sadio Mane for AFCON that begins on January 9th and ends February 6th. Surprise. Like, you know, it does not surprise me no more. And when I found out the big investment into, you know, what is it called? Pittsburgh Penguins. Like, shout out to Pittsburgh Penguins, but, like, you just know that FSG, they've got other priorities. And whether they're above Liverpool or not, you know, when you're buying a new club or a new franchise or whatever Pittsburgh Penguins is, they're going to have to put time into that. Therefore, it's going to leave a little bit of neglect on Liverpool. And it just, again, furthers my point on how we've wasted this time of Jurgen Klopp with his tenure at Liverpool Football Club, with the fact we've only got 1 Premier League and Champions League, which is great. First Premier League in 30 years and, you know, 6th Champions League, big years. Let's talk about 6, baby. Let's talk about LFC. Let's talk about Rafa Shankly, Jurgen Klopp and Bob Paisley. Let's talk about 6. That's boss, that's great, but at the end of the day, it could be 2, could be number 7, it could be the Premier League. We could have 2 Premier Leagues, which means we'd have the same amount of league titles as Manchester United. But we don't have that because we never invested and we had other priorities. And I think the stuff that FSG told us a few years ago, and again, like, feel free to be FSG in or out, but FSG did say when we won the league and when we won the Champions League, the ambition is to keep going forward. And I haven't saw us keep going forward. I just thought that was a load of bollocks, just to keep the fans happy. But I do understand why, you know, and I think people give too much credit to FSG for winning the league. I feel it's good to appoint Jurgen Klopp, it's good to appoint Michael Edwards, but then it stops there because there hasn't really been much else to give them the best possible chance at winning more. We've nearly got 200 people in the stream, so be sure to smash a like if you haven't already. Get any more questions in as we've got a good bit of time left on the stream. I'd love to get them in. And yeah, Quinch has just said, if them Penguins start getting investment, they can fuck off. But it's not the Penguins' fault. You can't blame the Penguins. They're just there waddling away. It's FSG. They're the ones who are going to be pumping the money in. They're the ones making these further investments. And I will concede the argument that over time, yeah, it could be great for Liverpool because FSG will have multiple franchises where they're going to have income coming in. Therefore, in the long run, it could be better for Liverpool. But I think FSG underestimate the value of short-term success, winning Premier Leagues, winning Champions Leagues right now, because you get a lot of money for that. And Liverpool's their biggest franchise. That's a fact. So you assume that'd be the one they focus on most. I just think their approach is wrong. But that's just me. We've got a member. I want to make sure that we get that on the screen and shout out any members who join the Anfield Agenda. Must say what you see. Thank you very much for becoming a member. It really helps out the channel. People, be sure to click the link in the description. I believe it'll be in the description. I haven't checked it myself. Connor can confirm that in the chat. Click the link in the description if you want to become a member. Really does help out. James, who's your current favourite player? I mean, Owen, I hate to give you a bad answer here, but it's Mohamed Salah. I feel like that's self-explanatory. All time, like, that's still playing, Lionel Messi. because Lionel Messi just does things that I never thought was possible. And as a kid, I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. Like, how many times has Messi got out of a 4-against-1 situation? He's done that way more times than anyone else in history. And that's just from, like, his natural ability, his shooting, his passing. Yeah, he's a joke. So Messi, but right now, Mohamed Salah. Not being a lick ass, but have you lost weight? Probably not. I've been being a fat cunt over the past few weeks. I had a chippy before. What did I have? It wasn't a chippy, it was a doner kebab. So, I would assume... So, but if you're saying I'm looking like a skinny bitch, I'm going to take it all day, Quinch. Don't you worry about that. After we won the league, we spent 86 mil on Jota, Thiago and Shimikas. Good point. Good point. And I suppose... Was it 86 mil? Thiago was 20 to 25. Jota was what, 40? 45? So, in total, that's... I failed maths, so bear with me, chat. 25 plus 45... That is 70 mil. And then oh yeah, you're right, so it would have been around that much. Maybe there's a misconception on how much they spend, but then don't you believe that we could have improved even further? And then with the amount of players that we've let go, that's good investment for sure. When we lost the Champions League final, that's good investment for sure. But going out this summer transfer window and not replacing Gini Wijnaldum, I don't care how much we spent last summer. That's not good enough. That's just not good enough. And people then bring up the debate about youth players. But if we bring in another first team midfielder, then it doesn't give the youth a chance. The cream will always rise to the top. If you are good enough, you will play. I don't want to just give people a chance because they're 17, 18 years of age. If you're good enough, you will be in the Liverpool team, and that's just the way it is for me. Score prediction for tomorrow, James asks Kenny. I've already said, but I think it's going to be 2-0. I think we'll get a clean sheet, and Liverpool will start to build a run of games where our defence just looks a little less shaky. Rafter says, who's the most likely to break into the team during AFCON, James? I mean, you're going to have to give the chances to Origi and Minamino, but if you're asking out of the youth academy, you're probably looking at maybe Cade Gordon as one of the favourites. Musliowski, I can't say his name, but you know the kid who gets talked about a lot in the academy. That I can't believe I still don't know how to say his name. I've been told thousands of times. You'll know what I'm on about with that poor pronunciation, though. He could get given a shot, but he hasn't been given a chance yet. Even Harvey Blair played above him a few weeks ago. Therefore, I would only assume someone who's been given first-team football, it'd be Cade Gordon. It'd be boss. It'd be interesting to see if Harvey Elliott was fit and if he would be included in the front three. In fact, I think we forget as well, Oxlade-Chamberlain, since he joined Liverpool has been a midfielder for sure. But all round, he has also played on the wing for Arsenal. So I wouldn't even put it past us to try and give him a chance. So we have got options. It's just about giving yourself the best possible chance at the end of the day. And I don't think that is. Shout out to Solomon, one of the regulars on my channel. Only 88 likes. Are you taking the mick? Get the likes up, people. Get the likes up. There's 200 people in here. I want to see 150 likes. 150 likes. Go on. I dare you. I dare you. Let's get a few more questions in. I'm enjoying this. I'm actually enjoying this. Who do you think... what do you think about Robbo playing left side midfielder? Is still have the fight? I wouldn't say he should be a left side midfielder. I think that'd be pretty strange. I think Shimikas would maybe be a better left-sided midfielder than Robertson. Someone recommended Nico Williams, which I thought it was a rather ludicrous statement. He played left wing-back for Wales, done fairly well. I thought he had a great game against Preston as well, but to put him right into left wing, it's putting the pieces in the wrong place for the puzzle. It's just bollocks. You shouldn't do that. You just need to accommodate proper players for those positions. Do you see City putting mad players in mad positions? The only one I can think of out of their team is Cancelo at left back, but I think because of how good he is as an individual player, that's why it works, because he's world class, Cancelo. People don't talk about him enough, but he is world class. James, have you seen Paddy Pimblett talking about Jude Bellingham? I have not seen him talking about Bellingham, but I am assuming he has good words to say. And if he doesn't, then Craig's going to be crying. Because anyone who says anything bad about friggin' what's his face about Bellingham, Craig just gets on them straight away. It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. The VAR ref is Chris Kavanagh. I don't think he likes your Liverpool. The ref will be Michael Oliver too. All referees are shit. Like, that's the one thing I've just came to terms with. No matter who the referee is. Like, yes, there's some that are worse than others, but they're all terrible. English officiating can suck my toe, because all rounds, with the standard of the game, with the fact this is supposed to be the best league in the world, I'm not being funny or not, and it's a load of absolute nonsense about how every single fan of every single team seems to complain about a referee. It's one of those things. Dan says, how do you fancy our chances in the Carabao Cup? Is it our focus? Dan, it should be our focus. It's silverware, and we're in the quarterfinals. We haven't got high-level opposition in those quarterfinals. Remind me who our opponent is, chat. But you should absolutely go for it. Man City are knocked out of the competition. A few other big sides have been knocked out as well. If you can win silverware early on in the season, it kind of not removes the pressure, because Premier League and Champions League are in a league of their own. You know, if Salah leaves this season with just the Carabao Cup, best believe he's going to be devastated. But it's a nice way to set yourself up and give yourself confidence. What was one thing I was saying before about Smith Rowe and why he could be a threat in this game? It's because he's got bags and bags of confidence. Mane, he's been putting up more numbers this season. He's the joint third top goal scorer in the league. Game by game, you see his confidence growing. Salah, confidence player. When these people have confidence, they improve, and it's the same situation there. Leicester, so we've got Leicester in the quarterfinals. That'll be a difficult game, with the fact we're likely to rotate in that fixture as well. So, I think we can do Leicester, and we should. And I think with that level of opposition, that should maybe be our priority. If we win this Arsenal game, I'm not sure of our fixtures around that time. But we need to prioritise that Leicester game, because I want to see us win a League Cup. If Jurgen Klopp leaves Liverpool without an FA Cup or League Cup, that's disappointing. The closest he got was his first season. I'm pretty sure he can do it with this team. James, do you think Prem refs... do you think the Prem should buy the best refs, like the best player? It's obvious, Quinch, they absolutely should. I'm surprised they still haven't. And a lot of the referees who are in the game haven't learned their craft outside of England, which therefore furthermore shows that the FA Refereeing Association doesn't really work. And also, it's just cheap. That's what it is. It's just cheap. You just want to, these have been here for like 10 years, most of these referees. They've lost the screw loose. But we'll wrap up one or two more questions before we end this stream. I was only supposed to go half an hour, but I'm enjoying this. So it's just one of those things. Bob says, do you think Gomez should be given a chance besides Virgil? Not for the Arsenal game, but I do think he needs to be talked about more. Again, I touched on it earlier on in the show. No one's talking about our Joe Gomez. Just like he never won a Premier League and a Champions League with us just 2 seasons ago. Absolutely madness to me, but he should be talked about more, and I'm surprised people already put Kanate above Gomez, but that just shows the shiny new toy does always get talked about. Would you take Ryan Giggs as a player coach when Klopp got... Right, we'll leave the show there. We will leave the show there, because no, I would not take Ryan Giggs with all due respect, for many, many various reasons. But anyway, if you have enjoyed my first solo show, we've maintained good numbers as well, so I hope that I kind of impressed. I hope you've smashed them likes. Better smash that likes, only if you enjoyed, of course. Subscribe to Anfield's Agenda, become a member by clicking the link in the description, and all that good business. Thank you so much once more as well for all the love and support that you've shown me early days on the channel. You've made me feel like a superstar, and it goes a long way to my confidence. Anyway, so the next show that I will be on will be... Well, I'll be doing videos with Craig on Sunday, but in terms of a show, I think it'll be Wednesday with Paddy. Let me reaffirm that with Craig, and then also we'll do another solo show this time next Friday. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, people. Like, subscribe, and all that business. And Monday, Craig and Steve. I was meaning my own individual show, but that is the next show that I'll be on. So be there or be square. Anyway, smash a like, subscribe, and I will see you all later.